All right, we want to give you the latest report here in North Carolina. I'm Pat McCrory, the governor of North Carolina. The weather map shows that Hurricane Matthews is well off the shore into the ocean, but in our minds, the impact of Hurricane Matthews is still here and extremely dangerous in many parts of North Carolina. In fact, I just received a report from Bob Woodward, who's chairman of Dare County Commission, about an hour ago. And they were the last to really get the remnants of this storm, and they're still getting some rain and some tough wind conditions. And he told me that in Hatteras alone, that probably 60% of the homes are in the water at this point in time, and or flooded. And so, as the beautiful Carolina blue sky is here in Raleigh, there are still people going through some very difficult times with the remnants of this hurricane. And we're also extremely concerned with the remnants of this hurricane, particularly in eastern North Carolina, which is our greatest concern for potential dangerous situations during the next week, actually. So this is going to be a long-term issue for the state of North Carolina. I cannot stress more, and I can even tell by the reduction here of the attention that when this went from a Category 4 to a Category 1 by the national media, primarily the AP and others, it gave the impression there was no dangers, when in fact it has been extremely dangerous, and it continues to be extremely dangerous, because what those categories don't include is the power of water and the power of rain. And what we've learned is the power of water, and what we've known is the power of water, and what we warned is the power of water could kill people. And I'm sad to report that we now have 8 confirmed storm-related fatalities, and it's expected to increase because we have right now reports of 5 missing people. And I pray that we find those missing people. We have 4 missing people in Cumberland County at this point in time and 1 in Harnett County. And I hope it's just due to other factors other than water. And sadly, the 8 confirmed storm-related fatalities is 1 in Rowan County, which is storm-related fire, 1 in Pitt County, 1 in Sampson County, 2 in Bladen County, 1 in Harnett County, and 2 in Johnson County. And almost all of these are due to being swept off the roads and drowning. And our hearts and prayers are with all these people, and I pray that we find these 5 missing people, and we're searching for them right now. Earlier today, we told you the incredible stories of rescues throughout the night, and we're continuing to look for people at this point in time in case we've missed anyone. As I related earlier, we had 1 health-related fatality in a shelter in Wayne County, in which the person did come in with some health issues and sadly passed away. Again, the greatest threat for North Carolina is inland flooding for central and eastern North Carolina, and that is continuing and will continue for next week in many areas. And let me give you some examples. Lumberton, the Lumber River is at 24 feet. That is 4 feet over the previous record. The flood prediction models tell us about 400 buildings already have water in them. 400 buildings have water in them. And if you've ever had a building with water in it, it is very dangerous. There are environmental issues, and it can destroy your business. North of Fayetteville, Cape Fear River at Manchester is currently at 31 feet, 2 feet over the record. In Smithfield, which will peak later tonight, it'll be 1 foot over the previous record in Smithfield and Johnson County, which got a tremendous amount of rain. And we're also experiencing major flooding in Clayton, Goldsboro, Chicopin, and Contentia. And we're really concerned about the flooding in those areas. And what's unique now is all this flooding that occurred in the Raleigh area, the Smithfield area, and so forth is heading downstream and out to the ocean. And those towns and cities that are in the way of this massive water coming down are in danger as we speak. And we've been on phone with representatives, mayors, county commissioners, emergency officials, and talking about evacuations and other needed personnel in these areas. And let me talk about some of those areas. More inland flooding is expected right now in Rocky Mount. And you know it well from Hurricane Flood if you're listening. Hurricane Floyd, along the Tar River. Expect record level flooding overnight tonight, anticipating rivers 3 feet over previous records. 3 feet over previous records. A day and a half ago, we warned that this is going to be like Hurricane Floyd. I was afraid that we were exaggerating. Now I'm having people from eastern North Carolina telling us we may have underestimated this. So this is extremely serious. 3 feet over previous records. Windsor, water is still rising, already 2 feet above what we saw during the tropical storm Julia just a few weeks ago. I have a call on that mayor right now to see how he's doing, because they just got off the debris, removed the debris from downtown Windsor just several days ago. In Greenville, we've had many conversations with the mayor and also county officials, and they will have near record flooding on October the 12th. That is Wednesday. This is a prolonged event, and it's Sunday at this point in time. Flood models indicate that more than 300 buildings will have water in them. And I think the immediate concern is the airport in Greenville, which is going to be flooded. And so they're looking at possible evacuations as we speak, and they're trying to plan those evacuations. There are a lot of issues in evacuations and crossing bridges and making sure it's safe to go across bridges as the waters rise on the Tar River. Kinston is expected to peak on October 14th. That's Friday. That's a whole nother 6 days at 1 foot over the previous record. That's the Neuse River. And Burgaw will see major flooding on Friday as well, anticipating 200 plus buildings being impacted. And that is the Cape Fear River. So the water that was flooding Fayetteville, Raleigh, Johnson County is now all flowing down into these areas. And it's going to be extremely dangerous throughout the week. Kinston is preparing citizens for the worst flooding that they have ever seen. They are imposing mandatory evacuation for all residents that live in the Neuse River Basin. A mandatory evacuation is underway in Edgecombe County and Princeville at this point in time. Greenville will be making a possible similar announcement on evacuations, hopefully within the coming hour. And again, they know the areas to evacuate better than we do. We're sending them models on the areas that we see that are the most danger along these rivers, something that they didn't have during Hurricane Floyd during 1999. Dare County, again, had a very rough evening. And they're still maybe going through some issues in Dare County as we speak. They had the storm all during the nighttime hours. They are imposing a curfew, and the only people allowed in Dare County will be property owners and emergency vehicles. I cannot stress to you more, do not plan to go in Dare County unless you are a property owner or your emergency team. But we have a lot of houses underwater there at this point in time. I do want to let the people, especially along the Tar and Neuse rivers and the Cape Fear River, know that right now there are no official dam releases that are planned. The locks are open at a minimal flow, and there are a lot of rumors going around right now all throughout the day that they're about to release some more water. And as of all indications right now with flood management, right now the locks are open at minimal levels along all three rivers. So I know the people downstream are extremely worried about what they're going to do upstream. So we're very, very sensitive to what will happen downstream as we have upstream flooding also. We have a number of reports of dams overtopping in central and eastern counties, including Sampson, Hoke, Cumberland, and Moore. And within the last couple hours, a breach was reported at Rhodes Lake Dam in Cumberland County. And right now, dam safety crews will be on the scene as soon as that site is accessible. A levee break was reported at Luther Park in Robinson County. A dam safety team has been deployed to assess the impact at this point in time. Good news, water is receding at Lake Benson and Lake Wheeler in Wake County, and there was a concern about some breaches, two dams or dams at both Lake Benson and Lake Wheeler, but for the residents, we're seeing that the water is receding, and that is very good news. However, the Wilson Police Department has confirmed that a break at Silver Lake Dam that is sending a large amount of water into Lake Wilson. The water is flowing underneath the roadway at this point in time. A dam safety team is on the way to check the status of that at this point in time. Again, there are some real heroes out there in our first responders. We've had over 1,000 rescues using 58 boat crews and 334 rescue air rescues. We'd like to also thank not only the Guard, but also the U.S. Coast Guard has done an outstanding job too, and we really appreciate their work. Wildlife has done an outstanding job with their resources. 700 rescues were in Cumberland County, where we have added swiftwater rescue teams from other states, and I assume we'll be moving them also as that recedes and other areas of the state are impacted. By the way, we've had some employees be rescued ourselves. A federal employee who was taking water samples in Wilson fell into the high flood waters, thought they had lost him, but he was rescued, and that's excellent news. We have more than 432 National Guard troops with 151 high water and rescue vehicles that have been activated, and we're moving more into the eastern part of the state at this point in time. Primarily, National Guards have been working in Fayetteville, Sanford, Williamson, Butner, Kinston, Elizabethtown, New Bern, Tarboro, which is another area we're concerned about, Salisbury, and they're coming from other areas of the state, Laurinburg and so forth. We're also working with the Coast Guard to help with further rescues. They've got great equipment and some great personnel. Our Health and Human Services Department, Dr. Williams has been here for many, many hours overnight while his house was flooding here in Raleigh. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate his incredible work and his team's incredible work, but we're really working with all the shelters, and we're especially concerned about nursing homes that could be flooded. Goldsboro has 3 nursing homes, and 2 have already been evacuated before the river crest there on Tuesday. The state is sending nurses also. This is what Dr. Williams has been working all throughout the night. The state is sending nurses from all over the state to assist with those evacuations. 2 other nursing homes in Cumberland and Wayne counties also have to be evacuated. These are very, very difficult situations for the elderly, for people who also may have Alzheimer's and other types of issues. And we're doing the best we can, and we want to help them any way we can. For those people, especially who can't help themselves, is where we have our major priority at this point in time. The State Highway Patrol, Colonel Gray and his team are pushing troopers right now to those impacted areas and are working extremely hard along with the sheriffs and other city officials to keep our roads safe and have blockades. Please do not go through the blockades. Some of the deaths that we had, very, very sad. It shouldn't have happened, some of them, and I'm so saddened for them and their families. North Carolina Wildlife, I didn't get to thank them this morning, but they've been great rescuing not only people, but they're rescuing animals also. And so I can't tell you how much I appreciate the wildlife resource officers. They've done an outstanding job. And the Department of Transportation is still sending areas where we need it. The county status, we have 43 local states of emergencies, 40 emergency operations centers open, 76 shelters open with over 3,000 occupants, and that plans to decrease in some areas and now decrease in others. Right now, we have 770,000 power outages, mostly in central and eastern North Carolina. I cannot stress to you more. I talked to the chairman and chief operating officer of Duke Energy about 2 or 3 hours ago, and she says this is going to be a tough time. This is going to be tough. Please be patient. Understand that. Think of 770,000. And by the way, the co-ops had over 270,000 of those outages this morning. They've got it down to 223. So for both the co-ops and Duke Energy, these men and women need rest also. It's extremely dangerous work. So please be patient, and they're going to try to get the power on as quick as possible. We still have some trees down with power lines in them, including right down the street on Wade Avenue. We're trying to deal with that at this point in time. And part of the reasons you can't move the trees, if the wires are still there, we're not getting near that tree. So these are very dangerous situations. I encourage, be very careful not to get down any downed trees, because there could be most likely wires in those trees and they can kill you. The State Highway Patrol is still working to address 911 system outages in Currituck, Bladen, and Moore, Columbus, Robinson, and Duplin. We're still having issues. We have water system issues in Beaufort County, Gates County, Johnson County, and Northampton County. I think they're mainly pumping issues at this point in time. And we have also boil water advisories in Fayetteville, Sanford, Robinson, Duplin, and Carolina Village in Currituck County. I do want to let you also know that our DEQ department is checking any environmental issues we might be having with the ag community or the utility industry. We're keeping very close check with that. Commissioner Troxler wanted me to mention that the Ag Disaster Hotline is very, if you need help, because we've had the farmers are just getting decimated right now, especially, well, right where we were a couple weeks ago outside of Windsor. The peanut farmers are just decimated. And but if you need help, there's an Ag Disaster Hotline at 1-866-645-9403. The state is, again, looking at also what schools are being impacted. You need to check with your local county officials regarding any school openings tomorrow. Some schools are right now being used as shelters. I know in Dare County right now we have a major school that is flooded at this point in time. So please check with your local officials regarding school openings and things of that nature. There also could be schools with some power outages still. So every situation is different. I mean, this is over a huge part of our state at this point in time. Numerous roads are closed. The major ones of concern are parts of I-95. I think we have two major closings along 95, about 70 miles apart, one in total of three.
Start from the south, Lumberton, and then around Fayetteville, there are a couple.
Lumberton, a couple in Lumberton and Fayetteville. And so if you plan to go down I-95, you're not going to make it through. So if you're listening from outside the state, coming up from Virginia or South Carolina, I-95, you're going to have to be detoured around. You need to be warned about that at this point in time. This is locations in Lumberton, Benson, Selma, and Fayetteville. And also parts of I-40 are closed just east of Benson due to flooding. And again, that's part of Johnson County, just east of Raleigh here. And also US 70 east of Selma. We still have a lot of people. We probably have 125 to 140 people here working. They've been here all through the night. We're trying to rotate people as we speak. I cannot stress to both the state audience and to the national audience that Hurricane Matthew is off the map, but it's still with us, and it's still deadly, and we're taking it very serious. It's going to be with us for a long time, but from a life and death situation, it's probably Friday next for another week that this is going to hang around. So we're going to be working hard, and I'm very, very proud of our team so far, and I just ask the people to be patient and safe, and can't ask for any more. We do not want to lose any more people. That's our goal, number one goal. So with that, I'll just take if you have any questions, we'll be glad to answer them. Thank you all very much.